Well, welcome back to Factorio, building the Hyperbase. Okay, we're getting close to some science, guys. Last episode we finished off launching another batch of 160 satellites, bringing us up to 480, which is just feeding our little starter base at the moment, keeping it out of trouble with a steady little trickle of science. Because we're only unloading with 2 stack inserters from each one, you can see that our 160 is still 77 to unload. It takes a little while, but there certainly is room in those chests. We've got 90,000, so what's that, another 76. So we were down to about 6,000 left by the time it finally got here, but that's fine when you're only burning, what is it, 120 or 30. Or only 110 even science per minute. It can take a while to burn through it all, but that is fine. So what do we need to get some more of the science up and running? Well, if you have a look at electric engines, we have our steel, we have our iron, we need circuits. It's green circuits in here, I'm pretty sure. Purple science, electric engines, yes, green circuits. These things take green circuits. And of course the lube. I won't keep putting off the lube forever, but I'm probably more concerned about the green circuits right now. So green circuits up there. Down here we have got the stone, we need steel, and we need red circuits. For these things. Steel, red circuit, stone. All we've dealt with is the stone. And we're probably not supplying 28,000 a minute just yet, but the smelters have the capacity to churn that out, so we should be fine. We haven't left a whole lot of room for error though, so that will be interesting to see. I think what we'll do next is the circuits. So the question is where to put them, because we need them for coming in here and we need them for coming in here. I think we decided green circuits was going to do its own local manufacture of green circuits. Green science is going to do its own green circuits because it's pretty easy. The amount that it needs is not a lot, and red of course doesn't need any circuits, so it's just supplying these 2 lots. And we need to leave room for steel to get up here as well. So it's kind of... I need more. That's right, I needed more radars. I have more radars. Why don't I fly over there, put some radars on these new builds that we are interested in exploiting. Because I want to know how big they are. Let's see. One over here as well. I want to know where I can potentially fit them. I might even just take oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I just want to get basically, so that there, it doesn't take you, like, it goes slightly further, it's slightly longer, but if you can fit all of that, you can get a train in there in one go. So that's kind of a good yardstick. So that will give me some ideas as to which ones of these resources are going to be able to be utilized most efficiently. And I suppose this is one of the ones that I want to see. So basically in that direction we're going to have to do the whole go in. Actually, are we... Let me stamp this down and just see. So did that... No, I think we lost a... it was close though. Does it make it slightly better if we're down here? Doesn't really look like it. Alright, I thought this one would be marginal, so that's why I was testing. We do have a lengthwise option. Let's see if that works any better. No, I think that means we lost actually more. So it's not that this is unusable, it's just that we'd have to do the same thing that we're doing over at the stone. Have the train sort of pull in halfway, pull in the rest of the way, which means we need a higher mining productivity for that to be a useful thing. Having said that, I mean, it's obvious if that's only just not big enough, this is definitely big enough, this is definitely big enough. So it's not like we're not spoilt for choice. Maybe I should go for that one. What's that? 9.5 gig. No one really refers to numbers as gig though. It's my bugbear with Factorio number system. It's not gig, it's billions. The only discussion about billions is whether a billion is 1,000 million or a million million. Yeah, see, that's just so much better. In fact, it works all the way up here, doesn't it? Yep. Now, if we're building 3 modules that are red and green, but we only need half as much green, how many of these things do we need? Well, this is kind of half what I've built above. What I've built above is for 5 full modules, and we're building kind of 2.5, so we're building half. It probably means we only need 3 copper and 2 iron. We're going to need plastic as well, of course. That's actually not that much. 1. 2. Oops, moved at the last instant, but I don't care. 3. That might be all we need for these guys. Now, if it's only 2 iron, maybe we should exploit this one. One, 2. Because this one is 9.9 billion, so that's basically inexhaustible. I can probably smelt the copper here, but if I smelt the iron here, it is annoying. Maybe it needs to come down here, and then we go back up in circuits. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it can be made to work, surely. So, I guess the thing now to see is if I have given myself enough room. We're just basically driving those straight into single copper smelts, like this. So, blueprint, what's that? Let's keep that one. Let's kill that one for the moment. Yeah, that does take up quite a bit of room, doesn't it? How about we try and line up one in the middle? One above that. And yep, that's perfect. One just below. There we go. Does this make sense, my reorientation of this thing? Oh, I think I can just ignore this train stop at this end. It's just because of how the other one worked. So, if I have done this correctly, we should be able to do that. And we should be able to do that. And then we should be able to get to this point and realize we're not going to be able to curl it around like the way we want. So we're going to have to do something kind of crappy, probably. a bit over here. It's we may have to push this over. Mining productivity 77, let's do 78. Because that's the thing we need the most, especially as we are moving a little bit away from bots. It might make sense for me to move all of this down and just have this so that it can be a simple corner rather than one of these ridiculous lollipop loops. And that up. We can't go up with that, that's a good point. Well, still, I mean, we can move this one down, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't stay as wide, does it? Could go up a bit, not a lot. Probably to about there. Right, I need some more rail. And we'll see what distance we need. To make it work. Okay, we don't have bots on, good. Let's run and get some rail. Have a sip of my refreshing lemonade. Where are we going? Whoa. Oh, no, I don't need that stuff just yet. I probably will need it soon, but it's premature. No, I don't need them either. Take them away. Take the rail away from there. We would like rail in the amount of 3,000 rail, thanks. Been processing a lot of stone through here of late. Does look like we're finally getting to use some. Okay, looks like we're all railed up. Return to the scene of our action. So as you guys know, I am working on my orbital expansion to the SpaceX mod. When I'm not doing this, or other things that you have to do in life. And it's looking really good. Coming together nicely. I might even show you guys some of it in an upcoming episode. But I'm also very excited about getting this factory finally producing some decent amount of science. Okay. Now you can build these lollipop things, but it's not my favorite. So what is the minimum distance we need to come out here? Basically twice what we've got. Although we can... we could do... yeah, that's what I want to do. No, we need to come out further. And that. We could do that. It's slightly less of a lollipop. This one would be coming through and hit it though, unless it gets moved up. So it's probably more, we should still move this one down, which I think we will, because we've got tons of space at this in this direction. And instead of going up with that, we'll go down. Let's get our guy kind of synchronized with where he needs to be. Down there. Now this one doesn't need that shape at all anymore. We can instead just use the normal arc. I might even quickly swap these guys over. No. You guys done now? Thanks. Okay. Oh, it does want to be silly to me today, doesn't it? Because it does not matter where we come through here, let us just come through a little bit lower. And sometimes it would help if it just used its brain. That might be asking too much. Okay, so that is where this one comes through. The next one, might just straighten this up, do the same thing here. because it really doesn't matter that we are. The idea is if we ever needed to, this field has 9.9 billion or something in it, so we're never going to need to move it. But if we ever needed to move it, we've got all the space and it's really not going to matter, so we could. But yeah. Need to move it. That is a joke. And you up here, buddy, you can do the fancy wrap round thing. Because I'm not moving you. Whoops. We have come down too far. So it actually doesn't matter where we potentially loop this thing. I guess I just don't want it to protrude down there, but there we go. Doesn't look totally terrible. It's not the best work I've ever done, but it doesn't look totally terrible, so that will have to suffice. So I'm only guessing that this is enough copper. I don't know. I think it's one of those things, if the smelting's enough, and we've got half the smelting, so I kind of think it should be enough. So yeah, if the smelting's enough, then the rest of it should be fine. And this is why a bit more bot speed is still good, even though we aren't using bots for everything. Just construction speed, it's great having faster bots. Of course, half my problem is they're all exhausted now and waiting to recharge, but there you go. It's one of the joys. And we're running out of the battery, so bot speed of recharge is probably going to be impacted soon. Still have rail. This one has reached a surprising state of relative completeness. So I suppose what I want here is there's three circuit stacks and 3 copper trains. I guess one of them is going to have the highest demand because it's going to have the double or the standard copper. So we're going to want it to get the sort of preferential, well, be able to choose from all 3. Maybe it should be the one in the middle. because that might make it easiest to get access to all three. And then so the coppers can either go to the one that chooses both or to like their favorite one. And the copper that can go in the middle can go to any of the three, and the others just choose two. Something like that, I think, will probably work quite well. Let's keep laying down that track. There we go. This is why we're accumulating so much stone at the starter factory. Starter base. Let's give them a bit of a helping hand. There we go. So what we need is we need enough room for these guys to all head down to where circuits will be. I don't know where steel's going to be, probably coming off all of these things to come up here and to go over here. Circuits should be made sort of over here. So do we put, like, they're only that big, so they'd come out here, or do they come down here? I kind of want them to come down here, but how much difference is it going to make? I guess what I need to do is, we'll keep that. I will kill that one since it's the copper one, and grab a iron one. Actually, here's an iron one. Oh no, we don't want to use that. That's the iron and steel special. Here's an iron one. Let's see, go along here. Tick. Now, we might need a little bit of Invini zoom, I think. I'll jump out of that too. It's up there anyway, so if so you could squish in one. Yeah. You could squish those guys in like that, or they could be here and here, just slightly more out of the way, and then the circuits themselves along here. I do think that's probably a better move. I think it's that way around that I want it. That should give me plenty of time for these guys to wrap down. One, two. So that's the iron. And now circuits. That's this thing. I think that's its thing. Yes, that is that thing. What's this? Probably still want that. I'm using a different design now. So, whoops. Yeah, if we come out that far, I want that as well. Something like that. And then we can place our 1, 2, 3. I kind of like to fit it in. One, two, three. And yes, here I go again, building a whole heap of stuff. And it's all ghost. You guys are used to that by now, aren't you? You're too slow. How are my bots? They're all home. So the middle one, I want the double green circuit. Does that cover? Not sure. But for now, let me just get rid of all of that and leave the middle one and get rid of all this. Why am I getting rid of it? It's just the less entities you have, the less updating you have to do of entities. So if we don't need all that extra green circuit processing, let's not have it. I think I may have made a slight mistake again with the batteries though. If you look at the number of batteries we need for yellow, it's 2858, and so I had over 5,000, so I was going, oh, that's too much, but I think I now have about 2,500 rather than 2,600. Is this battery manufacture? Yes, it is. Okay. Control N, which some of you probably picked up on and were going, this guy's an idiot. No, I'm getting 5,000 a minute anyway from that, so that should be enough. And it's having 2 of those, so I was way overdoing the batteries. I still need to get rid of one. Okay, so where are we at? We have the basics of the circuits. I have only a tiny bit of rail left. We need to connect up the iron, and then there's a hell of a lot of backfill to do. I probably will do quite a bit of this backfill just off camera to keep everything ticking over. Thanks, autosave. Where are we trying to get to? Down there. Now. There it is. Okay. Something like that for the first one. I don't really need this wiggle here, but never mind. We don't want to go onto that one. Let's have a look where we actually want to get to. Perfect. Oh, by the way, I'm not using a mod or anything. This is just standard functions. Just hold shift with the rail and it will try and do what it thinks you want it to do. You get mixed results like that, for example. It's very mixed. Sometimes it's not worth using. It's good in some circumstances, not so good in others. Okay. I think we're going to want one of my fancy loops from the other side. By fancy, I mean not so fancy, just one of those. And then from here we can go back to what we were doing. Hold down shift. So now there's a hell of a lot of stuff to fill out. So guys, I'm going to spare you I'm going to spare you the filling out of all this stuff. You've seen plenty of it. If you miss it, let me know in the comments, but I'm assuming that you don't really want to see it. So we have to get more plastic down here, obviously. And gee, it would be nice if there was a big fat oil just out here. Game, are you listening to me? I've been searching for another big fat oil for quite some time, because otherwise I might have to re-tap here, which I mean, this is supplying yellow, which I think's far enough. So I might have to do an Explorer. It costs you UPS, it costs you a little bit of UPS to do it, but I might have to open up the map just a little bit further in the hopes of finding some oil to satisfy our needs here. But in any event, I think we have done enough for this time. You can see how it's coming together. I still don't know how I'm going to get steel in here, but we will find a way, one way or another. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye bye for now.